my channel. I'm Kenesha, or Crowned Kenesha. I don't know why I do that, but it just fits. Anyway, welcome back and thank you for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome and thank you. So today I want to talk about roughly what this shirt says. I am a homebody through and through. I love being at home. If you follow me on Instagram, of course, you see that I am outside sometime, but that's because A, I love being with my friends. Hold on. Wait, so there's A, B, and C, right? But then was I gonna do 1, 2, and 3? I don't know. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, I think I'm back. I think I got it together. So let's try this again. Why do I go outside? So A, I really like hanging out with my friends. We always have fun, even when I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I'd rather stay at home. Once I get there with them, we have a blast. B is because I have FOMO. You don't know what FOMO is? It's fear of missing out. If I don't go with them, which is rare, but when I don't go somewhere like where they're going, my FOMO is terrible. So I may as well go. And then C, so supposedly, I have been told that my knight in shining armor is probably not going to be the UPS man, the FedEx man, the Amazon man, or the postman. So I have to go outside. So that's why I go outside. But be clear, this is really who I am, who I love to be. I love curling up on my couch under a blanket or sometime in this chair, and I have this little footstool. I don't know if you can see it. And just like either watching TV or reading. So today I wanted to share what I have currently been watching and what I can watch over and over again, and also what I've been reading. I'm also throwing in an honorable mention because I do listen to podcasts. I don't really listen to podcasts in the house. If you're following me on some of my other socials, you'll see that I walk several days a week, and that's when I listen to podcasts because music doesn't really do it for me to keep me motivated to walk. So I listen to podcasts, so I'm going to share some of those with y'all too. So let me go grab my list and we will start with what I'm watching. And yes, I made a list because #all. So hold on, I'll be back. All right, so I am back with my list and I was like, let's get a little more comfortable. So I brought the footstool over. All right, so what have I been watching? So one of the things I watch is Maths, Married at First Sight. I've been watching now I wasn't one of the fans that's been watching since from forever. But I started watching maybe 5 or 6 seasons ago, and I'm not gonna lie, it is nowhere near as good as it used to be. I feel like the what are they, the people who put them together, I can't think of what they call them now, but they are really just doing it for the show because they have been terrible the last 2 or 3 seasons. They shouldn't have matched any of these people, and the majority of them don't make it, and the ones that do, they're not gonna make it long. But I'm really watching this season because they're here in Nashville, so clearly I had to watch it. But if you're watching it with me, I feel like all the couples are doomed. The matchmakers did a terrible job. None of these people fit. But I watch it, and I'm gonna watch it to the end because again, they're in Nashville, and I am committed. I also watch Ready to Love. Now, if one of my good friends is watching this, she's gonna make a face because she told me to start watching Ready to Love a long time ago. But I don't like Tommy. On the Steve Harvey morning show, Tommy irked the mess out of me. So I was I'm not watching it because I don't like him. And then finally I decided to watch it and clearly love the show. So my bad, friend, if you're watching. So I watched Ready to Love, and honestly on there, Tommy does not get on my nerves. He's not the same person that he is on the Steve Harvey morning show. So I can deal with him. And what else? Oh, I'm watching Love and Marriage DC. Now, I was not a fan of Love and Marriage DC, had no intentions on watching it, but my all-time favorite couple on Ready to Love, which is Clifford and Joy. I love them from the time they met on their season of Ready to Love. I was rooting for them, hoping they stayed together because they were just so perfect. And so clearly they have. And now they're on Love and Marriage DC. Now, I will say that I feel a way about it because I don't want their relationship to get messed up being on there, or for them to ruin it for me and I've loved their relationship so much and then they get on there and just cut up and act a fool and I don't like them anymore. So I'm hopeful that they are gonna stay one of my favorite couples. What else? Let's see. And of course, I have been a diehard Law and Order fan forever. I love Law and Order. I like all of them. Now the newest one, Organized Crime, I haven't really gotten into it. That's just kind of when I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I need to see Law and Order and some episodes. So I haven't watched a lot of those, but the original SVU, those are my jam, and so I'm watching those. And the original just came back again, and they have a new guy in there, a new black guy. And I cannot think of his name. If I can think of it, I'll put it, when I find it, I'll put it in the comments. But I've always thought he was cute, so I'm excited that he's on there. And then just a couple of other things. So I love HGTV. Before I actually got this house, and even before I got my first house. Well, my first house, I really, really started getting into HGTV because I wanted to figure out how to decorate and look for a house and all that. And so HGTV is my jam. I usually only watch the shows at night because they're good shows to kind of help you go to sleep. And then Married to Real Estate with Egypt. So I think it's Egypt. I don't know if that's her last name, but that's a really good show, and it just came back, so you should watch that. And then a show that I never would have thought about watching, but another one of my good friends told me about it, is Zoe's Playlist. And she mentioned it because I keep a song in my spirit, in my heart. And so I'm always like, you say something, if I possibly can, I'm going to find a song to go with. So she thought I would love that show, and she was correct. I adore that show. So those are just a few things that I'm currently watching. Now there are a few shows that I can watch over and over and over again, and I have. And so some days, when I am just getting home from work, but hello, my office is just back there. When I get off work, my brain is done, I'm tired, I don't really feel like watching anything serious. I have 3 shows that I watch over and over again. So one is the Miss Pat show, which Miss Pat is hilarious. If you have never watched her, you need to find her. Right now it's 2 seasons on BET+. The 3rd season, I think, is coming out soon. I can watch those over and over again. And then Reba. I love Reba. The show is old, I don't even know how many years old it is, but that show, I have probably restarted the season. I don't know the show, I don't know how many times. And then Mom is also one of my favorite shows. So if all else fails, I don't really feel like thinking or watching, I'll put one of those on and I can laugh. And then wait, I had a few more. See, this is why I made a list. So a few other of my shows that I stay up to date, because if you also really know me, I don't watch things current, when they really come on. I'm really bad about letting things kind of build up so then I can binge them. I have completely become that binge person. But there are a few shows that I typically watch every week when they're on. So it's 911 and Lone Star 911. I love those shows. They both just came back a few weeks ago, so that made my heart happy. And then Abbott Elementary. I think we all watch Abbott Elementary, so I don't have to tell y'all anything about that. And then Call Me Kat. Call Me Kat is so funny. That was a show that really, I didn't even think I was gonna like, but it was another one of them times I was sitting here flipping through the TV, not really wanting to watch anything deep or whatever. And I saw it, and Kyla Pratt was on it. And Leslie, can't remember his name, but the little short, funny guy that was from Chattanooga, which is where I'm from. He just passed away not too long ago. And so I was I'll watch it, and fell in love with it. So those are my shows. And then last but not least, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am a diehard Hallmark fan. I do not know why they haven't worked with me, because I am their biggest fan. I watch Hallmark movies all year round. I love them. I typically have Monday nights are set for Hallmark movies. And I started that because, Mondays are typically hard days, stressful days, we coming off the weekend. And so I always wanted something that'll bring me down and make me happy, and Hallmark movies do. So that's my jam. And yeah, so let's get into real quick the books that I have been reading. I don't want to make this video too long, and me talking about my shows went longer than I thought, so we might need to do a part 2 because there are more. All right, so let's talk about a few books I've recently read. So just to kind of catch you up, I used to be a really, really big reader, read all the time. And then I fell off reading and didn't read that much. But here in the last few months, I've really gotten back to reading. And so how it kind of started, so whenever I travel, if I'm going to be on a plane, I will usually have like some kind of book to read. Like that's just what I want to do. I need to be able to read while I'm on a plane. So I was going on vacation with my friends, and so I had a book. And usually the book gets me through the vacation, but this trip was like more chill and just us to just like relax and stuff. So I read more. So I finished my book while I was on vacation, and it's like, well, that's a bummer because I need another book. So my friends I was like, oh, I ran out, I don't have a book. Like, what can I read? And so they suggested for me to read a book by Brenda Jackson. And I hadn't really read her books before, but they were like, they're so good. So they gave me a book that was in a series. And so I started reading it there, and y'all fell in love with the book, with the series, and the reading bug came back. And so I've been pretty much back on my reading game. So I'm glad about that. So the first series that I read by Brenda Jackson, and I don't know if the series had a name, but I'll just tell y'all the name of the books real quick. So the books were Loving Catalina, Forget Me Not, Finding Home Again, Follow Your Heart, One Christmas Wish, and The House on Blueberry Lane. And I'll drop those in the comments because y'all didn't get all that. I wouldn't have got all that. But anyway, this series was so good. Like, I read it like super fast. And it's basically, so also another note about me, like I read for like a getaway, for happiness, like just to live vicariously through somebody else. It's rare that you're gonna catch me reading like a super deep book. I don't really read like biographies, autobiographies, whatever. Now I did read Karen Steffen's book. I mean, does that count as a biography or autobiography? Anyway, but yeah, so I'm not a historian. I'm not trying to like read for deep. Like I want to read for fun and like chill. So these books are all about like lovey-dovey relationships. They are a little spicy. I feel like she does her spice a little more classy or eloquent. So it's not like, you know, the hood ratchet like books, which don't get it twisted. I like a good, hood ratchet love book too, so I like those too, but Brenda Jackson is not that. So if you want like some little fun like love stories with some spice but done eloquently, then check out Brenda Jackson. Then the next book I read by her was A Family Reunion, and that book was good, and it's a series too, but I have been trying to get my books from the library because I was spending way too much money getting books. I read on my iPad. I have the Kindle app, but that was getting expensive. So the next book in the series wasn't available, so I had to find something else to read. So I am currently reading by the book, which is Jasmine Gilroy. It's so good so far. But so I would say read anything by Brenda Jackson or Jasmine Gilroy because those books are really good. And I'm not sure what's next. I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to get back in the series with Brenda Jackson. But I feel like I'm gonna probably stick with Brenda Jackson or Jasmine Gilroy for a while. And then I just wanted to throw out there, like, whenever people like who find out like that I read a lot or whatever, they'll ask me like for books they should read, especially if they're like just getting ready to start getting into books. They'll ask me like books they should read. My favorite book of like all time, hands down, I don't care how many books I've read, not one for me, and it's The Coldest Winter Ever. I love that book. I've probably bought it like 3 times. It is the best book ever. If you are new to reading, have not read it, I highly suggest reading it like right now. Like as soon as this video ends, wait till the video ends and go get it. I will say I was not happy with the sequel. I've totally lost the name. I'll look for it. The sequel took, I feel like 20 years to come out because I feel like I read The Coldest Winter Ever when I was young the first time. I've read it again, or read it a couple times. But I wasn't really impressed with the sequel, but I read the sequel just because we've been waiting forever to know kind of what happened to these characters. So if by chance you've read The Coldest Winter Ever, or are going to read it, I suggest reading the sequel just because it will give you closure on the characters. It's not as good, I want to keep saying that, but it'll give you closure. So I do recommend that. And yeah, that's kind of just a little bit of what I've been reading. And so I think I said at the beginning of the video, we were going to just do a quick honorable mention to share with y'all some of the podcasts that I listen to when I'm walking. So let's get into those. Okay, I'm going to try to make this really quick because I did not want this video to be that long, but I got Chatty Cathy. But before we get to the podcast, I also watch BMF. If you do not watch BMF, it's on Stars. It's so good. But anyway, let's get to the podcast. So as I said, I don't listen to podcasts really in the house. I listen to them when I'm walking. If you follow me, then you know I'm like all about true crime. So most of the podcasts I listen to are true crime. So I listen to Sistas Who Kill, which they are my favorite. And when I run out, then I'll go to Black True Crime. I also listen to Rotten Mango. I don't listen to that one as much because for me, listening to true crime, I can't listen to the ones where, or try not to listen to the ones where, like, you know, women are being raped or like kidnapped or like, you know, really like doing things to kids. Those don't really work for me. And Rotten Mango, that one covers a lot of those, but she does a summary on them. So if you did decide to listen to hers, read the summary, so you'll know, you know, if that's one you want to listen to. And then I also, when I run out of episodes on those, I'll listen to Murder in the Black and Black Girl Gone. The only thing about Black Girl Gone, which I'm glad the lady does the podcast, so she's putting a spotlight on women who have disappeared, and some have been disappeared, and it's all Black women that have disappeared, been gone for like years. And, you know, for Black women, our cases don't ever get the same attention as white women cases. So she's shedding a light on that. So that's why that's a good podcast. And I like to, you know, listen to it and share, you know, when I listen to it. Only reason why I say, because, you know, you don't really get closure on those. So a lot of times now you're like, oh my God, you know, what happened, and you don't know. She does have some where they did end up finding out, but most of them are women who, you know, still missing and have been missing for like years. Now, if you are not like into true crime and murder and all that, I get that. So I got you. Because sometimes I walk in the morning, and if I walk like in the morning before work, it's rare, but when I do, I don't feel like I should start my morning off with murder. So a few of the ones that I listen to then are Therapy for Black Girls. She has great episodes. Morning Walk, which is really good. The Go Ladies podcast, which are my friends, but they are two 40+ women that share all things about 40+. So you should definitely listen to it. Even if you're not 40+, it's a really good podcast. I love Angie Martinez. And so she has a podcast in real life. It's really good. She talks to some of your favorite celebs and just really kind of goes deep with them. And then Drink Champs, which I love that podcast, but that's one I usually listen to in the car because I love that podcast, but it is so long. Like the episodes are like 2 hours, 3 hours. So literally I start watching one and just every time I get in the car, I'll put it back on. And then if you are not like really big on podcasts, but and you want to maybe get into books or whatever, I suggest Bronzeville. I think it's like 2 or 3 seasons. It was maybe one of the first I listened to that was podcast, but it comes off more like a book. It has some like big famous name people like Lorenz Tate is one of the voices. Angela Bassett, Lawrence Fishburne, and it's so good. So look for Bronzeville if you want to start getting into podcasts. That's a good one. And then The Cheat Code. That one is just crazy. I had quite a few people listen to it when I listened to it. It's literally a real life couple that both cheated on their spouses and now they're together and they're telling the story. It is strange, it is weird, but it is good. So those are the other two I wanted to mention. So, okay. So if you have made it this far, because this video ended up being way longer than I wanted it to, but Chatty Cathy here. So if you made it this far, thank you. Drop in the comments any shows you're watching, any books you're reading, or any podcasts you're listening to, and let's share and discuss. And again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week. Bye.